Okay, so I'm back at my shop now, and I'm going to show you how to make a short throw shifter out of the stock shifter on the 5th gen Maxima. It also works on the 4th gen Maximas. So the first thing we got to do is get the shifter out of the car. Alright, so really the first thing I need to do is put on some music. There we go. And my Pandora station is based on Chasing Midnight from Mighty Car Mods. It's kind of like, puts me in the mood to work on stuff. Alright, so first you gotta take off the shift knob to get this thing out of here, so that just unscrews. Then that will allow you to take off this whole bezel here. Okay, and you gotta unplug all this shit back here. Then you gotta get under the car to get the shifter actually out of the car. You have to get up underneath this exhaust shield here. And let's see if you can see it. Alright, so I got the heat shield out of the way now. And I'm going to disconnect this centering spring here. Okay, the spring is disconnected. Now I'm going to take out this bolt here, this pivot bolt that goes through the bushing. Okay, pull that pin out, and then the linkage drops right off the shifter. This is the bottom of the shifter here. Alright, next thing we gotta do is we gotta get this bolt right here and this other one right over here. Oh hey, it's Kelsey. Alright, got both of these out. Now that should allow me to separate the shifter. Yeah, you can see that's going to separate now. And I'm going to have to go up in the car to pull that shifter out of there. Alright, so I just worked the shifter through the rubber here and out of the linkage down there. And that's what it looks like. Alright, now you're going to take the shifter and hold it upside down on a table, basically, and you're going to push this cup down, there we go, until the fitting that holds the ball pivot comes off. And just let that drop down. And then you got to split these two. These nylon bushings here come off the ball. And then this is the actual pivot ball. And what we're going to have to do here is, in order to make this a short shifter, is we have to change the pivot location. So this ball is going to end up getting moved up the shaft just a little bit. And then that is going to make the area below the ball, below the pivot point, longer, and the area above the pivot point shorter. So when this moves, this is going to move more. So this will have to move less, and this will have to move more to get the same amount of motion from, you know, one side of the fulcrum to the other. Basic leverage principles. Alright, so I'm going to mark this so that I can see where it's moved. I'm just going to take a white paint marker, and I want it to be like right up about here where this bend is. But we'll just mark that to show where it is. And I'll mark this side to show where it was so I can see how much I moved it. And then we're just going to hammer this nylon ball up the shaft. Okay, so I'm using a heat gun to warm up this nylon so that it'll slide a little bit easier down the shaft. Okay, so we've gone from the old mark here up just about past the new mark. We're right at the bend now on the shaft. Okay, now that I got the ball about where I want it, I'm going to put some grease on here. Okay, now that the ball is good and greased up, I'm just going to reassemble the two halves of the bushing around the ball. And then this rubber piece goes over those. And then that whole assembly slides back into this. Like that. And then your pivot point is captured. And then this is ready to go back in the car. This cover will get sandwiched in when you bolt this down, and it'll be watertight and it's nice and greased up, so it should be nice and smooth. Okay, so I just dropped the shifter back through the boot. Let me see that for a sec.
Sure. Whoop.
Alright. So it's back in there. I gotta go back under the car now and hook up the linkage again. Okay, so we're under the car now, and as you can see, the shifter bushing housing, the bolts are coming through now, so we're going to put the nuts back on here and bolt the bushing back to the shift linkage.
Hey, Bri. Why is the exhaust undone?
Because it was in my way.
Oh. He is so lucky he has me around. Yeah.
You didn't find my grease.
No, I didn't, but I'm filming for you, so.
Okay, so next thing I gotta do
Move the exhaust. Oh, no.
is put the linkage back on the shifter with this bolt. Just gotta kind of swing it into position, line everything up. That slips in there. That goes right through. Alright, that's in. Gotta tighten that up with a wrench. Yep. I gotta hook up this centering spring.
Oh, whoa. There was an exhaust in front of this shot. I got it.
So.
Alright, so as you can see, I got it all up and all good now. So, I did me. There's the spring. It's all connected.
Oh.
I can't explain exactly how I did it, though. Maybe you can.
So what's the next step?
You can take over. Go ahead.
Full gasket. We got our bolts. Get this thing back together.
Gasket.
That's a 17.
Oof. Going with the odd numbers again, huh?
A bunch of different size bolts on here. Okay, so got the shifter back in, got the cover on, the bezel, the boot, screwing the knob on now, and we're about to see how the short shift feels. Alright, let's see. Nice. It has a good feel to it. It's much better than it was before. It's not super short, but it's definitely a lot shorter than it was. It feels a lot better. I don't like that big long lever where you have to throw it really far. I like to have it a little bit shorter. I know a lot of people now just put like these giant long shift knobs on their shifters and they're like up here doing long throw, but I'm old school. I like it short.
Alrighty. Hope I like it.
You'll like it.
License plates on. Nice sounding exhaust. See how it shifts. Yeah?
Needs gas.
Needs gas? Great.
The gas light is on.
Bummer. I just put gas in my other car. Oh, it's too dark.
The shifter feels excellent.
Awesome. It's a little dark so we can't see.
Okay, so it's time for the maiden voyage. Kelsey is actually going to drive her new car out of the garage. We did all the maintenance and stuff, and it's late at night, and we're hoping nothing breaks.
Yeah.
Because we have a long drive home. Let's see what happens. Alrighty, that's a wrap.